So in the light of the recent event with Charlie Kirk, I like to call it recent event to keep it ad-friendly, and all the talk about it we see on social media, I decided to take a good, long look at Benjamin Netanyahu, and his family, of course, as I do. I'm surprised more people don't do this. I think it's because most of us barely know more of our ancestry than 1 or 2 generations back, if even that, so we're kinda used to not thinking about it. Like, we see a public person doing or saying something, and we don't think to ask, wait, who are you? And who is your father, grandfather, and so on. It's quite illuminating once one starts doing that. You find things. So, what made me think of old Benji here? Well, if you remember that suspiciously eager way Ben was distancing himself from the recent event,
bigger the lie, the faster it will spread.
I mentioned it already in one of my videos that I found it weird. Why did he even feel the need to make those videos? That sparked my curiosity. Another thing is, I saw a post on X where someone was claiming Benjamin's real last name was Mileikowsky, not Netanyahu. It's implied that he's hiding something with that change, and that it's secret information, and Benjamin is not happy about it being out and about. I started digging there and followed where it led me. As I was researching Benjamin's family history, I found it easier to organize my thoughts by making this family tree here. I'll put the link to this document in the description under the video, so you can check it out for yourself. I wasn't aiming to create a complete extended family tree of Netanyahu's. I focused just on the branches I felt were somehow important, as they were on this family's road to greatness. The furthest in the past I managed to reach following Benjamin's paternal lineage was this guy here, Chaim Halevi Mileikowsky, Benjamin's great-great-grandfather. Not much is known about him, apart from that he was a rabbi. He was born around 1820 in or near Vilnius, Vilna, which was at the time part of the Russian Empire, modern-day Lithuania. He lived in a region known for its Ashkenazi Jewish community and scholarly traditions. Some records suggest he may have been part of a Levite lineage, indicated by Halevi, denoting descent from the biblical tribe of Levi. Recent DNA studies of descendants link the family to the R1AY2619 Y chromosome haplogroup, common among Ashkenazi Levites. So this connection seems to be scientifically proven. For those who don't know or have forgotten, Levites are a tribe of Israel, the ones that Moses tasked with the gruesome mission of executing 3,000 other Jews on the day of the Golden Calf incident. According to the book of Exodus, Moses returned from Mount Sinai after 40 days of absence, bringing the tablets with the 10 Commandments, only to break them in anger after seeing that it took merely 40 days for the tribes of Israel to forsake Yahweh and make themselves a golden calf to worship and bring sacrifices to.
Those who will not live by the law shall die by the law.
He then ordered the sons of Levi to enact his vengeance upon the Jews, sending about 3,000 souls of men to meet their Maker on that same day. For their loyalty, Levites were awarded with a special status among the tribes. They became the priestly caste, a tribe of religious leaders. They were also Moses' muscle, his enforcers, his SWAT team, his iron fist clenching a bloodied blade. From then on, whenever Moses needed to quench a mutiny, Levites were there, ready to do away with thousands of their own. Neighbors, friends, brothers. We see a familiar pattern here.
If your right eye causes you to sin, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off, throw it away.
This here is not Chaim's real photograph, of course. It's just an image of how rabbis of that time and in that area used to dress. So it's safe to assume this is just about how Chaim looked as he and his abettors were studying the Torah. I wonder how much of what's to come was already sprouting in his mind and heart. Every new generation of the Mileikowsky family was reaching new levels of influence and power. They believe in destiny, and they honestly believe that they've been sent by God to do this work they're doing. Next in line was Zvi Halevi Mileikowsky. For some reason, I feel the most sympathy and empathy towards him out of all the Mileikowskys. Maybe it's because he looks so tired in this only photo of him I could find. He looks tormented, like he had a too interesting life and lived in too interesting times. He was born in Vilna, like his father before him, on the 15th of Av, 5609 by the Jewish calendar, which corresponds to August 9th, 1849 by the normal Gregorian calendar. During his life, he was a rabbi, a ritual butcher, a judge, a farmer, a Zionist activist, a synagogue founder, an educator, and a moil, circumciser, meaning he performed the traditional Jewish religious act of circumcision on 8-day-old male babies. In March of 1920, he decided to move to Israel with his wife and children. They moved to the city of Herzliya, just north of Tel Aviv. They had 3 suitcases of things, 2 copies of Torah, and a single orange tree sapling. This one orange tree will soon, under his green thumb and with hard work, turn into an orange grove. He was a successful farmer. Zvi Halevi Mileikowsky's agricultural work was typical of the early Zionist settlers of that era. The labor Zionist movement at the time emphasized working the land as both a practical necessity and an ideological statement. The idea was to transform Jews from urban merchants into farmers and agricultural workers. Zvi's orange grove would have contributed to what became one of Palestine's major exports. Jaffa oranges became famous worldwide, and citrus farming was central to the economy of the Yishuv, the Jewish community in Palestine before Israeli statehood. This hobbit-looking, short, sturdy man, his position as a moil enabled him to become deeply integrated into the growing Jewish community in Herzliya and the surrounding area. Performing Brit Milah, ritual circumcision, was a respected religious service that connected him to families during one of the most important moments in their lives. As a circumciser, he would have been called to homes throughout the region, building relationships and trust across the community. During his working career, he performed a staggering 2,378 ritual circumcisions. That's at least 1,000 families he got to connect with through this ancient ritual. Imagine the state of his shoes with all the walking he must have done. Someone with so many foot miles among the community is for sure a central figure in that group. This part is the Netanyahu family origin story. Benjamin Netanyahu's grandfather, Rabbi Nathan Mileikowsky, later Netanyahu. The whisper turns to a roar. Looking back, there's a gradual, almost planned progression through the generations. But Nathan is still the defining moment. Not just because he changed the family name, though that's part of it. They probably never felt Mileikowsky was their real name anyway. It's a Slavic name derived from Milik, meaning small, the name of several villages across Russia, Belarus, and Poland. Essentially, it means from Milikov, or some similar village. A typical diaspora surname that ties you to an Eastern European location, marking you as someone from there. I guess Nathan wanted something that sounded more Jewish, and that it meant something. Nathan was an incredibly active man. An agitator, propagandist, preacher, activist, a father of 9 who somehow managed to raise all those children while staying deeply involved in his community. After arriving in Palestine in 1920, he started signing some of his articles as Netanyahu, while still using Mileikowsky in other contexts. He also used the pen name Nitte. Netanyahu means God has given in Hebrew, so he wrote constantly, articles, pamphlets, promoting the return to Palestine, and, as he was signing some of them with Netanyahu, he just got used to it in time. Nathan's version of Zionism was different from the older religious approach. Instead of waiting in Jerusalem for the Messiah, they should create something new through work and organization. The traditional European Jewish life had to change. Jews needed to stop remaining in vulnerable diaspora communities and become farmers, builders, and defenders of their own territory. No more fiddling violin. Nathan liked to tell stories. One of the stories he liked to tell is how he and his brother Judah were attacked by some conveniently anti-Semitic hoodlums.
My grandfather shouted to his younger brother to flee and save himself. And he then stood alone against the raging mob to slow it down. They beat him senseless. They left him for dead. And before he passed out, covered in his own blood, he said to himself, "What a disgrace. What a disgrace. The descendants of the Maccabees lie in the mud, powerless to defend themselves." He promised himself then that if he lived, he would take his family to the Jewish homeland and help build a future for the Jewish people. I stand here today as Israel's Prime Minister because my grandfather kept that promise.
This became the Netanyahu family origin myth. You can hear Ben's accent changing as he's symbolically regressing back in time, into his grandfather's voice, even though he never heard it, as he was born 14 years after Nathan's death. I want to end this not with Benjamin's father, as the order of this video so far would suggest, but with Yoni, Benjamin's older brother. Every great deed requires a sacrifice. All things seek balance. Tragedy crept to the name Netanyahu. Yonatan was the rose of the house of Netanyahu, their final form. Born in March, under the sign of Pisces, this fish was born to swim upstream. I know I'm waxing poetically a bit too much, but it's for a reason. Yoni could back it up, really. It was as if all good things in that family converged to produce their absolute perfection. The firstborn son. Just look at that face. He could have been an actor. Instead, he was a warrior and a poet. Jonas's life needs at least an hour-long video just to list everything he's done in the short 30 years he was alive. He was in a dozen extremely high-risk military operations. He joined the Israeli Defense Forces in 1964, after graduating from high school and returning to Israel from the United States. He volunteered for the Paratroopers Brigade for his obligatory military service. He fought in the Six-Day War in 1967, where he was wounded while rescuing a fellow soldier. After that war, he briefly attended Harvard University but returned to military service in early 1969, later joining the elite Special Forces unit Sayeret Matkal in the early 1970s. Yoni Netanyahu was killed in action on July 4, 1976, while commanding Operation Entebbe. To me, his death explains a lot about Ben and his attitude in the Palestine-Israel conflict. It's all very personal to him. He's not just another pencil-pushing politician. Both Benjamin and Yoni were incredibly active warriors. It's actually amazing once you read about it. Benjamin was even wounded multiple times. In my opinion, this is a big part of the reason why Trump is so submissive to Benjamin. At first seeing it, it seemed out of character. But when you think about it, Trump appreciates strength, bravado, and a cocky attitude, especially when it's backed by any real substance. Now, Trump is successful in many ways, but a few things are forever out of his grasp, and one of them is being tested in such a real, hard way that these ex-intelligence service guys have been tested. It's a thing Trump can't have, and he envies it, and is in awe of it. I'll just leave it at this. I hope you liked this video and got something out of it. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.